Yes, people, we are live for Albert's Midweek Peek on the Arsenal Lounge, people. It has been a while. Plenty to talk about, transfer talk, and a big game on Sunday, Arsenal versus Manchester United. But before we get into it, people, let's smash the intro.
Thomas, it's up for grabs now! Thomas!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it!
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Erik.
Champions.
And there you have it, people. Funky intro into Arsenal Midweek Peek. So, people, yeah, it's been a while. Smash the like button on Arsenal Lounge and smash the like button on AlbertJTV because we're broadcasting from both channels, people. So, yes, plenty to talk about. I've got company with me, my brother from another mother, but supports a different side than the beloved Arsenal. Dan, United first. Thank you for joining me. How have you been, my brother?
Well, as you can see, I've gone grey. That's what supporting this club, this great club, does to you. My beard's got whiter, as you can see. Honestly, it's been a roller coaster, mate, which I'm sure we'll get into. But we're here. We make the best of what we got.
Indeed. Yeah, I got in from work not so long ago. So, but I've been keeping up to date with plenty of notifications from Fabrizio and David Ornstein and all the other journalists out there, as well as YouTubers and everybody else tweeting about transfers here, there, and everywhere. So we're going to touch on that, actually, obviously, because it's deadline day today. But obviously, we'll talk about more sort of specific.
Yellow curtains, mate. I've not got a yellow tie, so I've gone with the yellow curtains.
Yeah, I was thinking of trying to put some yellow in on the stream, but
yellow pillow as well, mate. Just spared no expense.
Oh dear. But yeah, Dan, quickly touch on transfers. So much happening, man. We'll come to our respective clubs in a bit, but is there anything that's sort of from maybe rivals or any other clubs that have caught your eye? So, for example, today I see I think Alex Iwobi potentially joining Fulham for 22 million quid. I mean, wow. Apparently, Patson Daka's being lined up to go to Bournemouth, last minute signing. Oh God, Johnny Evans obviously come to United on loan.
The savior.
So I go Regulon. There's so much going on. I don't even know where to start. Nottingham Forest have come good the last couple of days of transfer window.
Nottingham Forest have made some. I tell you what, for the club they were laughed at last season because they bought 742 players in, but this season they've brought the right players in, haven't they? The players they're bringing in, I think they're going to be right this season.
Yeah, you know what? They've not gone crazy like they did last year when they got 33 players in, but they've got so many players. I need to sort of take a detox and relax and obviously see who they sign. But Dan, you're right. They have made some really, really shrewd signings. Obviously, a certain Brennan Johnson has gone to Tottenham. I think it's a good move. I think it's a great signing by Spurs, actually. But yeah, I don't want to talk about him too much because this is an Arsenal channel.
They've still got Richarlison, mate. So don't sweat it too much. Sweat it too much.
I love that chat with Savile when I catch up with him. But yeah, Dan, anyone that's sort of caught your eye really in terms of transfers?
I mean, yeah,
There's a lot.
There has been a lot. I think Newcastle have made some good signings. I think Newcastle, as much as they've not started the season as well as they'd hoped, but they've had their first three fixtures. They've had some tough ones, haven't they? They have. Yeah. But the players they brought in, Tonali's looked really, really good. I like the look of him. Livramento's obviously not played much at the moment, but I think that's going to be a quality signing.
Smart signing, yeah.
Newcastle have done well. Yeah, I mean, where'd you start, Albert? This has probably been the busiest transfer window I think we've ever seen for clubs. Surely,
absolutely.
What do you do when clubs like Bournemouth are spending as much as they are? Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy. I looked at the table. I thought, what? You know what I mean? They've kind of, they've pushed the boat out a little bit, to be fair. But yeah, if they get Patson Daka over the line, that's a really good signing for him. Because in this league, Dan, you need someone in the 18-yard that can put the ball away, man. Two players I want to quickly talk about before we sort of move on to our beloved clubs. Where do you stand with this? Because Romeo Lavia and Cole Palmer. Dan, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'll start with Lavia quickly. You've got an opportunity to go to one of the biggest clubs in not just English football, European football, world football in Liverpool to command the first team place in their starting lineup because a lot of their guys have gone or been moved on.
Yeah.
and he chose to go to Chelsea.
Money talks.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. Honestly,
it's bizarre. I mean, Chelsea at the moment, I don't understand how they're doing what they're doing. There is just, it's baffling me. You know, United have obviously come out with the line FFP. We've got to be careful. We owe £300 million out still on unpaid things to to other clubs for players. And Chelsea are just going out and not just doing a madness. They're breaking the bank and smashing it to pieces. And at 1.1 billion, I think we're at now in three windows.
crazy.
I mean, Chelsea are outspending Saudi Arabia at the moment. I mean, for fees, I just don't understand how they're getting away with it. And there's United scratching around, looking under the chairs at Old Trafford to try and get 2 million together for a loan deal for Amrabat. Don't understand it. Make it make sense to me, Albert. It's bizarre.
It's crazy. Yeah, the Lavia one that really confused me, and even more so to add to the even more confusion. The Cole Palmer one, I actually think he would have got a run in the City side. Maybe not every week, but I just don't understand why he's gone to Chelsea. I generally, I mean, City from a point of view, look, they've made 45 million on an academy player. What's your thoughts on that? Go on, mate. What's your thoughts on that?
Chelsea, with the squad they've got now, on paper, in 5 years, these players are going to be unreal. But they've not made many signings for me that addresses the issues that they've got now. So I feel like Pochettino he's got a big job to do. He's got a big job to do to get a lot out of these young players. I mean, Cole Palmer does that. I mean, this will probably get clipped up and I'll get laughed at. But does Cole Palmer look at the type of player to you that in 6 months we're going to go, Chelsea have had their pants down there. They have got an absolutely unreal talent here. I just don't understand where it come from. Like with Cole Palmer, it wouldn't have surprised me if he'd have gone on loan to somewhere like Forest or Sheffield United this season to get more experience in the Premier League. But for him to go to Chelsea
on a permanent,
it's bizarre. It's bizarre. I don't know. It's a bizarre one. Lavia obviously has gone there, but he's got Caicedo in the way now. Now Caicedo, they've paid all that money for. You can't tell me that Poch is going to be able to just rotate them, because when you're paying that much, putting that much peas in there for a player, you can't just use them every now and then, can you?
Yeah, it's crazy how much Caicedo and Lavia have gone for. If you just look at their Premier League appearances, it's unheard of. Like, I mean, Caicedo's only been here, I don't know what, season and a half maybe. Lavia's had a handful of first team games, and
Caicedo, who United could have signed for 4 million before he went to Brighton, but we're not bitter about that. We're not bitter about it at all. Alvarez, who's gone to City and been a really good understudy to Haaland, but we could have had him, but we're not bitter about that. We've got the best scouting system in the world, Manchester United. We've got the best negotiators in the world. We have there. So
I can see you got a lot to get off your chest, man. But but yeah, transfer wise. So we'll come to our clubs actually in terms of like transfer dealing so far. So I'm going to ask you about Arsenal, and I'll sort of give you my thoughts about United. I mean, with our fan base, I don't know where do I start. A good start to the window. People said we got our business done early. Edu, and we give praise where praise is due with Edu and Arteta in terms of players that come in: Declan Rice, Raya, Timber, and Kai Havertz. I still want to ask you. I mean, Timber's a big blow. I mean, there's looked a very shrewd signing. Sod's like he first came in the season and he's out for the season.
Player we wanted, mate. I would have loved Timber at United. We nearly got him last season. He rejected us because Van Gaal said to him, "You won't play for Holland much because you probably won't get as many minutes there." He then stayed at Ajax, and then you guys come in for him. And I mean, take the injury aside, what a player! I mean, he looked really good in pre-season. I thought he looked decent. I mean, was it first? I think it was the first game of the season. Was it the first or was it the second?
Against Forest, he got injured.
First game of the season. That's horrendous, and it's sadly it's not the first injury of that type we've seen already in this season. But that must be a hell of a blow to you guys. And then you're sort of reshuffling your defense now, whereas you had a plan where you were going with the defense. Now this happens. It's bizarre. I feel for you on that one. But what a signing he would have been for this season. I think he'd have had the same impact as the likes of Martinez had at United last season for us. I really do.
Yeah, what do you make of Arsenal's window? Just because I mean, I have this conversation with Arsenal fans all the time, so this is nothing new to me to have this conversation. But from sort of a someone that's not associated with Arsenal, you being a United fan, because I mean, the Declan Rice signing for me, I was delighted that we went for him anyway. I like Declan Rice personally. He's one of the very few footballers I follow on Instagram who weren't connected, who weren't Arsenal before he came to us. But do I think we're gonna have to pay everybody else to get him? Yes, we paid 33 million pound, and we paid more than we paid for Pepe. Brings so much. It's the thing is, it's mad because when the link started with Declan Rice, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure just because I thought he'd end up at Chelsea. I just could see it happening. But
I thought United, mate, if we'd have had the money, I thought we'll get him.
Yeah, but then the more traction the story got and more people kept leading, I thought, oh, this actually might have some legs in it. But yeah, I'm delighted we got him. Did we pay over the odds for him? Yeah, we did. Just like a lot of clubs pay over the odds for a lot of players. It happens in football, unfortunately. But delighted. Like I said, interceptions is a skill for me. Being in the right place at the right time and winning the ball back and overturning possession to win it back for us has been. He was top of the charts in terms of stats for that. Definitely amongst our Arsenal players he was, but in the Premier League I think he must have been in the top 2. But yeah, you can see the difference even in the games. Only in the first 3 games that he's played, there's such a difference he's brought to our midfield. But I also want to ask you really about Rice, but where do you stand with the Kai Havertz signing in Arsenal?
So, I mean, with Havertz, so Havertz and Rice, it's two complete different kettles of fish, isn't it? So, Havertz, he was a signing that when it happened, I said to the likes of Potts and that, I said, if this works, Arteta is going to look unreal. You know, if Arteta can get something out of this guy, then yeah. But I don't see it. I do not see what Havertz brings to your team. You could have spent that money like United have, the same problem United. You could have spent that money on someone else, brought someone else in that would have pushed maybe a Jesus. Do you know what I mean? You've got Nketiah battling out. He's not a striker. We can see that. He's not going to play, surely not going to try and play him where Odegaard is so effective. He's not a central midfielder, so I don't understand it. And this is the flip side of the Declan Rice deal.
Yeah.
You buy, right, so when you pay so much money like United did with Anthony, which don't get me started, but when you spend the money on a player, you essentially bring that player in for his ability. The unsung thing that I think we miss with transfers and what you've got with Rice is mentality.
Yeah.
He has got that. He is a captain, isn't he? You know, he was captain at West Ham. He's a captain's mentality. And I think you can have all the ability in the world, but you need attitude and application. And I think that's what you get with Declan Rice. Now, much like, I mean, to be fair, Mason Mount obviously is injured now, so it's taken that out of the system for Ten Hag. But how far does Arteta go with this tactic of playing Havertz? How long does he rest on his morals of, I've signed him, he's going to be my player? Will it be when it starts to really hurt you? Because I can't see you getting goals from him. I don't see what he brings to players around him. So, and it's kind of like with the Gabriel situation. You know, Gabriel and Saliba were stunning at centre-back together last season. Now, all of a sudden, it's White and Saliba, and Gabriel's sort of shoehorned out. So, it's a big season for Arteta. He got a lot of flowers given to him from last season. You know, rival fans are going to mock Arsenal for supposedly bottling the league, but it's Manchester City. Manchester City are a different beast. We said this last year. We've said it the year before with Liverpool. Manchester City are Manchester City. This was the season, I think, now, much like with us at United, us United fans, I speak for a lot of us. I don't know if I speak for all of us. For me, the main goal was us cutting down the difference between us and you know, cutting that lead down and making it that we could really challenge this season to be in the conversation of sort of second pushing. We're not in that conversation now. And I think with the signings that you've made and looking at the way you've played, I'm not sure that you're going to be in that conversation pushing for first place. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. He's obviously tried a new system, much like Ten Hag's tried a new system, and it's not working at the moment, is it?
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm going to speak for myself, obviously, because I'm not going to speak for every Arsenal fan because they've very clearly got their voices about Kai Havertz. But when the sort of the murmurs started, Dan, I was like, I'm not really sure about this one, to be honest with you. Forget the money. Look, it's not my money, and also, unfortunately, clubs pay over the odds for players. I mean, I don't know what the ballpark figure for a lot of these players are anyway. Was it 30 million? Was it 40 million? Was it 50 million? I don't know, but we paid the money we paid, but I wasn't sure, just because obviously, what his time at Chelsea hasn't been too fantastic, and where was he going to play for us? But I've got to be honest. I mean, from what I've seen so far, the first 2 games he did okay. The third game, Fulham game, I went to. I was like, I was very underwhelmed, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So I think the problem Mikel Arteta has got, from my own personal point of view, is with this particular signing, he could have potentially signed his own death warrant with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And you're in the same situation of him now where we are with Ten Hag and Anthony. Ten Hag won't drop Anthony because he spent the money on him, and it's a player he wanted. And it can be the downfall of you. I don't see where Havertz goes. I don't see where he slots in, because that front three, you've got Jesus, Martinelli, Saka.
Yeah,
stunning. Behind him, you've got Rice, Odegaard, Partey when he decides to play him in midfield. I don't see where he goes. I don't see where he goes there. Maybe he'll do a stint at left back for you.
Oh, don't get me, because the thing is, I mean, Dan, I see so much. Like, I don't get angry very often. I was fuming after the Fulham game. I didn't even do a fan cam. I was that annoyed.
You should have. I need to see footage of you angry, mate.
No, Dad. There's plenty of other Arsenal fans that are very good at that. that could do it as well. But no, I was so annoyed the way we just gave up that game. And I said this before with Mikel Arteta trying this experiment. Dan, we played Nottingham Forest last season, right? Second to last game of the season, when we were technically in the title race still, even though we're probably not going to win it anyway. He played the same system. He played Thomas Partey at right back. He played Jakob Kiwior at left back. It didn't work then, and we was awful against Nottingham Forest. So he's obviously thought, you know what, okay, we'll try it again sort of the coming season. I have no issue with a coach showing adaptability. I think coaches need to show it a lot more, if I'm being honest with you. But not at the detriment to the strengths of the side.
No.
Now, I don't know what's happened with Gabriel, and people were saying murmurs that he might be going, because I don't understand how the guy can play in pre-season, play in the Community Shield, and he's on the bench for the first 3 games of the season. Because the thing is, I've heard people turn around and say tactical reasons. What a load of nonsense.
It can't be, Albert.
A centre-back.
Yeah, it can't be.
No. For an attacking wide forward, possibly. One of your midfield boys, your 6 or your 8s, possibly.
Yeah.
Not from your mainstay centre-back partnership that he's on the bench for tactical reasons. Something's happened. We're not probably never going to find out, Dan, but I just find it odd. And people ask me, I was on Dan Potts' show, right? And he asked me, what do you think we're going to go back to the same team or a back 4? And my answer was quite clearly, Dan, was I don't really know with this manager. Because it's almost gone in full circle of Arteta. What I mean by that, and people in the chat when they watch this back, is he first came into Arsenal, different centre-back partnership, different right-back, different positions in the team. Gets a more settled side. We have a more settled side last season. This season, he's got more of a team and a squad to rotate. But you've gone away from what was working well, or what did work well for part of the season.
Just because you could doesn't mean you should. You bring these players in to help throughout a season. You need to. I thought the system in parts last season was stunning, and I really did. And I saw an attitude shift in Arsenal last season. Games where, like the Bournemouth one, I know everyone laughed at Potts' reaction at it, but I thought, do you know something? Arsenal would have lost that 2 or 3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Arsenal wouldn't battle until the end. So I don't know. And the thing is, if the fans are feeling it, I just wonder what the players are thinking with it. Gabriel, is he sat there going, what is this? Is Saliba sat there going, why are we doing this? Is Odegaard, when Havertz come in, did surely some of the players must have been like, why? What is he going to bring?
It's the thing. I think, look, I said this before. Look, we're 3 games in. I will look at Arsenal collectively as a side. I'd say I think the first 2 months of the season, you can get a lot more of a gauge of where your team's going, who the players are making an impact, and some of them, the jury might still be out. But I think with Havertz, it's completely. I think the fact he's an ex-Chelsea player doesn't help. But what can you do? But yeah, I'm just not sure with the signing. I don't know. I know the most level-headed Arsenal fans are thinking, "Oh, you give it time," and I think with Arteta, before we move on to sort United, is because he's such a clone of Pep. And people going, "Oh yeah, but Pep, did this with John Stones and he did this with João Cancelo." I said, "That's fine for you to turn around and say that, but we're not Manchester City."
No, that's it.
And to me, you can see. Listen, you got all these. No offense, I'm going to say it right. You got all these 21st century, some of these 21st century Alan Hansen Arsenal fans who feel like they need to educate Arsenal fans. Oh, his tactics and takes time. And I always say, go by what you see with your own set of eyes.
Yeah.
We played some very fluid attacking football last season. I've not seen any of that this season, to be honest with you. So listen, Arteta, I think, yes, look, I understand you're trying to implement what Pep does, but maybe you just don't have the personnel, mate.
Yeah, I agree. But, mate, if you don't have the personnel, Manchester United, Christ almighty, we're
going to come on to him, Dan. So, yeah, listen, I'm looking at your players in. Amrabat, I think that's still ongoing, is it, for loan?
pretty much done, yeah.
You bought a new goalkeeper. I won't say his name, Altay Bayende, I think it is.
Yeah.
Rasmus Højlund, Mason Mount, Andre Onana, Reguilon's coming on loan, and obviously Johnny Evans is a short-term loan for the year.
Sir Johnny.
Yeah. So what have you made of your incomings? Won't talk about your outgoings just yet. What have you made of your incoming so far?
Incoming. So I wouldn't have the way that they've happened is wrong. I think we all know Manchester United's biggest problem last season, we didn't have a striker.
Yeah.
So what I couldn't understand was come middle of June, we're still in negotiations for Rasmus Højlund. We'd already got Mount. Mount was in. We're saying we've got Mason Mount. We've got Onana coming in. But for me, Manchester United should have gone out the day the season finished. Yeah. They should have gone out, and striker was their priority. I know they knocked on the door of Harry Kane's at Spurs and were told flat out no. Yeah. But the way the season's gone, with us still looking so light up top, I know Højlund's back this weekend. I kind of feel like we should have just kept De Gea, not worried about Mount, and just chucked all the money at Kane. I really do. I don't understand. Mason Mount's come in, and I feel sorry for Mount because he's come in, he's played a formation that Mount has not looked good at all. Yeah. I kind of also think that, personally, I think Mount being injured is probably a good thing for Mount. I think he will now be fed back into the team as opposed to just chucked in there. Amrabat is a brilliant signing. Okay, he is a brilliant footballer. I watched a lot of him because of Lawless last season. So I watched a lot of Fiorentina leading up to that final, and I like him. But why is it the 1st of September 1932 on the clock, and we are still trying to get him on loan? If he was such an important player for Manchester United to buy, loan to get him through the door, why wasn't this done in June and July? I think you only have to look at the Onana signing and say that we've bought Onana for being a sweeper keeper and being that first line of defense of getting the ball out, starting an attacking phase. That's not happened. I saw him do it in pre-season. I've not seen him do it once in the Premier League. Now, whether that's Onana's come in and thought, Christ almighty, the Premier League is pacey. I didn't realise it was like this. In Italy, it is a lot slower. You are able to do stuff on the ball like that. I'm not sure. Rasmus Højlund, that's just Man United's luck, signing a striker, a position that we desperately need, and then him out injured for a month. That's just United all over. And then obviously Reguilon, I can't really go off at the Reguilon one so much because we had Luke Shaw and Malacia. Malacia got injured at the end of last season. Then Luke Shaw comes out with this muscle injury, and we're trying to play Dalot at left back, which isn't going to work. That isn't going to work. So I'm quite happy that we've gone out and got a left back. And actually, do you know something? I feel on top of the world that it's Reguilon. And I'll say that for one reason. This time last week when the news came out, we were linked with Ryan Bertrand. So,
oh wow, I never heard that link.
Yeah. So Ryan Bertrand was linked. So to take Reguilon, who again isn't a superstar, we know that by any means, was on loan at Atletico Madrid last season. We'll take it. We have to take it. You know, it's beggars can't be choosers. And at the moment, Manchester United, unfortunately, we are the epitome of beggars because we owe so much out still on unpaid fees for players. 300 million, that's ridiculous.
Ooh.
We are still run ridiculously. The two people in charge there, Murta and Arnold, I honestly feel like my wife could do a better job with transfer because this has been the way Manchester United have bought players for so long. You look at Manchester City and Newcastle. Let's give them two as examples here. Both teams run by billionaires. Clubs know this. Clubs know that they are dealing with people who have got a lot of money, but they never seem to pay well over the odds for players. Manchester United, you can slap 20, 30 million above what any other club would pay. Simple as that. We saw it with Anthony. Should have got him for 50 million, got him for 80, 90 million. You look at Højlund. Højlund, he's got a big price tag on his shoulders.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Such a young lad.
Yeah.
Could have probably, any other club would have probably gone in there and got him for 35 million. It happens so much with Manchester United. And this term is banded around with United fans, Murtar madness. We've got these players on. It's a Murtar madness. No, it's not. It's embarrassing. It's an absolute embarrassment. So the incomings for when you look at it on a whole, fair enough. Their positions that we did need to strengthen, but it was done the complete wrong way. Back in I sound so old saying this, but back in the Fergie days, if his teams were not sorted and transfers were not done by the start of pre-season, he went mental. Yeah. Manchester United, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen at all, and it's the way it is until we get new owners. This is the way that we're going to be run, I'm afraid. Outgoings, shambolic.
Fred, Henderson, Elanga, and Tellez. I think there might be some more in there. Yeah,
it's horrendous, mate. It's horrendous. We go on about Manchester United FFP. That's the only reason we're struggling. FFP.
We hear that a lot of time. We hear that a lot to Arsenal.
Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay, 60 million, for both bid by West Ham. Still at the club. Now, okay, fair enough. With Maguire, you can kind of say, well, he wanted a payoff to go. Just pay the bloke. Just get rid of him because he's on 200 grand a week at Manchester United.
Yeah,
200 grand a week for a centre back who, by the sounds of it, I think he'll be behind Johnny Evans in the pecking order. I genuinely believe that. The only reason we've signed Johnny Evans now is because Varane's out injured. 100%.
Yeah. He's missing Sunday, isn't he? Yeah.
And what does that say to Maguire? We're signing a 36-year-old centre-back because we just don't think you're the right person for the cover. Dean Henderson, that dragged on. I mean, that was completed yesterday. Why is that taking so long?
Yeah, I don't get that one. I don't get that one at all.
Donny van der Beek. Again, I'll say the name, Donny van der Beek. How is he still at Manchester United? I don't understand this. So, and again, I go back to Richard Arnold and John Murta. It's horrendous. Behind the scenes, we are the worst run club in the world, honestly. And I put us above Bury, who lost everything. Bolton. I honestly do. It's shambolic, and I know people will come out and say, "Yeah, but over the last 10 years, you've spent $1 billion." Yeah, I agree. But again, this goes back to what I say. The name on the back of the shirt is the reason that they've been bought, not the job they're going to do for the badge on the front of the shirt. And that is where we've gone wrong so many times. And so I think that the news coming out that the takeover, this bloody takeover that's gone on longer than Oppenheimer. Do you know, I went to Oppenheimer and I sat there after an hour going, this could have been done by now.
And I was going to ask you about the takeover in the sense that, I mean,
Oppenheimer, because it's a good film.
From an outsider's point of view, I thought this seems too good to be true that this is going to get done. What was the sort of general consensus of United fans in terms of from the start of it? Because this has been going on for a long time, I thought this is not going to be straightforward. So, what was the feelings amongst the United fans in terms of?
It's,
Are you surprised
I mean,
it's got to this point?
we've all prayed and hoped it'd happen. It hasn't happened. I genuinely feel like this is a final FU. I will say FU because it's before 9 o'clock. FU instead of the word FU to the fans. I think this is a final FU. They will go once the transfer window's done. Simple as that. They are enjoying watching us struggle like we are, not being able to get the players we can. The fact that any of those, well, it's only two, Joel and Avram. The fact that them pair sit there and say, we want to be part of this great club and this has just been allowed to happen. It's like a kid with a magnifying glass on an hand with the heat. They will go October, November. It'll be done. They will. This is their last bit of, we are just going to absolutely muller the fans here because they don't care about the club. They don't care about where we are. They don't care that the fans are absolutely devastated that it looks like this season we could potentially finish sixth. You know what I mean? It's they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I look at how much did you get for Elanga when you went to Forest?
15, I think, wasn't it? 15 million.
Is that a good business?
No, I don't think it is. Especially, look, if you're seeing Cole Palmer go out for 45 million, yeah, I get it, he's got a Champions League trophy, but he didn't really. I think he played a couple of group games, scored a hat-trick against Sevilla. Other than that, he's not really been trusted to do much at City. And then you look at Elanga, it kind of felt like United like just get him out of the building. Get him at 15 million. Yeah, we'll take that. I don't know. Look, United and good business goes together. I was going to say an analogy that definitely wouldn't be allowed there. Goes together like me being allowed out on a Friday night to the pub. It just doesn't happen and never happens. I'm joking.
Yeah. But no, you know what? You make a good point because I think this is what, from what I gather from Arsenal fans, particularly in the last probably 48 hours. I mean, because our big money, in terms of the money we're going to recuperate for anyone half decent. I mean, I'm going for it now quickly. I think that obviously Rob Holding's very close, going to Crystal Palace on a permanent. That's only 4 million. Tavares has gone out on loan to Forest.
He spent more on his hairline, didn't he?
Yeah. I think Forest wanted Tavares on a permanent. I would have made it happen personally. I don't know what the background was behind that deal, but he's gone on loan. We've got 10 million for Matt Turner, 21.4 million for Xhaka. Tierney's gone out on loan to Sociedad. I think could do what you did, Dan. Don't get me started. But and Balogun was the one. I said this, I think, quite a while ago last season. I think he'll move on. He had a bit of a taste for it. He had a good loan spell in Liga and at Reims. I think if some of the Premier League clubs are coming for him, I think we might have got a bit more than we did. I actually thought, I know Arsenal fans wanted to talk about 50. I even said it, to be fair. I said, look, with the way transfers are going, Arsenal needs to try and hold that for 50. Inter wouldn't go there, I don't think. Monaco wouldn't go there. They wouldn't go to that price anyway. But I thought for players only had a couple Premier League appearances.
Yeah.
I thought 35, raising maybe going to 40 million is about that. But I see why people get frustrated when they see the price of Lavia went for, and from a relegated side, by the way.
Yeah.
And the likes of Cole Palmer, what he went for, and the Balogun thing. I think Arsenal have to get better at this. I think as much as people want to talk about smart business and the players we got in, Arsenal was still, for me, a long-term project in terms of getting good money on player sales.
100%.
As much as people want to talk about the money City spend, they recuperate really, really well, man. Sterling, Torres, Sane, Jesus, Zinchenko, Cole Palmer's just gone. They get some good money, and even Chelsea get good money, to be fair.
City's window's just been scary good. It really has. It's been scary good. But that's what well-run clubs do, isn't it? And I say well-run loosely. I know they've got the charges over their heads, but that's what well-run, scouting networks and well-run, negotiations. That's what happens, isn't it? Something that, not happening at United anytime soon.
Mad people, Arsenal loungers, AlbertJTV people, smash a like on the Arsenal Lounge and smash a like on AlbertJTV. Subscribe, people, for both channels. Dan, look, got the game on Sunday. I might be going, actually. That wasn't the case until yesterday, but I might be going. It's not definite, but hopefully I might be going. What's your feelings about this game coming up? Because obviously I know Varane's out. You've got a new captain. I want to get your thoughts about Bruno, actually. What's your sort of mood feeling coming into towards this game on Sunday?
Devastation. Devastation, mate. It is. Look, I'll try and be as positive as I can with it.
Yeah.
Rasmus Højlund's potentially starting. He's back in the squad because Martial looks so unfit,
God.
behind against
honestly.
Forest.
Yeah.
So that's a positive. And that's as far as the positives go, mate. You know, we're playing away from home. Our away form against any of the big clubs is horrendous. Our away form in general is horrendous. We have a major mental issue. I think it's a mentality issue playing away from home. It's horrendous. Arsenal's players, as much as we've said what we've said, they've still got the attacking capability to really hurt Manchester United. It all depends on what he does with the team on Sunday. Ten Hag if we lose on Sunday, which I fully expect us to do, that's 2 losses and 2 wins in 2 games. Now, okay, last season we started with 2 losses, then we went on an unbelievable run that obviously had Liverpool in there and you in there. You can't rely on that. You can't rely on that to happen every season. Like I said before, this season was all about us closing the gap on you guys and trying to sort of put our name in the hat.
Yeah.
It is kind of feeling like a, no pun intended, all or nothing thing on Sunday. It really is, because
I like that.
you guys have the ability, regardless of the the moans from Arsenal fans, to really actually make a statement against Manchester United on Sunday. It's a big chance for Arteta to quieten the doubters down and say, well, look, this is what we're about. It's one of them, mate. I fully expect you to beat us 3-1, 2 or 3-1. The only positive I've got is Højlund's an unknown quantity to the Premier League. Could he have the same impact that Anthony had on his debut when we played you? I don't know. I mean, Arsenal versus United is normally a meaty game. It's normally a good game. But at the moment, no Varane, no Shaw, so I don't think Reguilon will start. I think he'll continue with Dalot there. It'd be very unfair to chuck Reguilon, I can't say his name, at the Emirates, being a Spurs player. He's going to have the crowd on his back already. I don't see Amrabat starting. That would be far too late. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough day. Now, don't get me wrong. United have still got players that can absolutely turn this game on its head. Rashford, back out on the left against Forest, looked something similar to what we had last season. Bruno Fernandes, if Bruno Fernandes turns up, it will be a tough game for you. Again, Casemiro, if he's not out muscled, if he's not expected to do the job of 3 midfielders on his own,
and that's the problem. You're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So we've got players there that can do damage to Arsenal. It's just how we set up, and again, it's the application and the attitude of the players going there. I know, obviously, like you said, you want to talk about Bruno, and I get why you want to talk about him as captain. He's riled a lot of players. He's riled a lot of not players, riled a lot of pundits, riled a lot of fans. I think what you have to look at with Fernandes is, I kind of go to what I say about Ten Hag, in the sense of Ten Hag has to produce this season after, last season was a gimme. He took over a really bad squad. It's the same with Fernandes. We looked at Harry Maguire as captain, and everyone said Harry Maguire is a terrible captain. Captain. No inspiration, no nothing. So when Bruno took the armband last season, everyone went, Bruno's fine. He's passionate. This is what we've missed. Now he is the full-time captain. He's got to give himself a chance to show people what he's all about. We've got to take away the moaning, the rolling around. I saw it against Forest. Yeah. We lost the ball where we thought we should have had a foul. And Forest went straight onto the counter-attack, and he is on the floor rolling around. And I'm like, that's our captain. I was blessed to watch the days of Roy Keane as captain, and Roy Keane, other than when, the Haaland incident, when he did his ACL and he was out and he was genuinely injured, Roy Keane didn't roll around on the floor. Roy Keane got back up and dragged that team back to defend against. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a prima donna. Now, Fernandes does get a lot of hate. We know that. Rival fans hate him. Absolutely hate him. But his stats, since he's been in the Premier League, don't lie.
Yeah.
Chances created, goals, assists. He's been absolutely unreal. But to be the Manchester United captain, it's not just about what you do on the ball, it's what you do off the ball. And you need to be able to drag your team through it. When you are in the dirt,
The mud.
you are
The mud.
backs to the wall. You need a player that is going to absolutely drag the. You need a player that's going to look at the boys and say, "Boys, follow me. I'm going to lead us to the promised land here." Do you know what I mean? And you don't get that with Bruno at the moment. So he needs to he needs to really buck his ideas up. Obviously, it's early days. We're 3 games in. Who knows? Who knows? This might just be a baptism of fire, and hopefully he comes good. But we just have to see what sort of captain he's going to be. If he's going to be a moaner and someone, I mean, like coming out and trying to berate the referee against Spurs and saying, "Well, are we going to get an apology?" Don't be that guy. Come out and tell the fans we were terrible. You know, we lost. Don't come out and throw it all at the referee. Don't do that.
It's not great.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I was looking at your side actually for your last game against Forest. I know Dave was gutted, man. I messaged him. So you got Nana, Wan-Bissaka, Varane was going to be out. Throw Martinez, Dallo, Casemiro, Eriksson, Anthony, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, and Martial. I'm assuming Rashford will go up top.
It wouldn't surprise me. Last season, he put Anthony straight in against Arsenal. It wouldn't surprise me if he does the same with Højlund. Much love.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if he does the same. Honestly, Rashford is our left winger. Do you know what I mean? Rashford is the player that can do anything on that left. Garnacho is quality. I love him. He's a star boy. But he's not yet at that level to start games week in, week out. You bring him on as an impact. You bring him on to learn. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me after the dire show that Martial showed us that if he does start Højlund.
I'm shocked he's still at Manchester United, Dan, you know. Martial. Absolutely shocked he's still there.
Welcome, mate. Welcome to Manchester United. Welcome to Manchester United. I remember the days where Fergie got rid of Van Nistelrooy.
He got rid of some big players, man. Like he didn't care. Yeah.
And now look where we are.
Yeah, football's changed, mate. But Dan, massive shout out to you, man. With Arsenal, one thing I will say, Dan, and Arsenal fans in the chat, if you're watching this now, watch it back. Our home record is awful. I think we've only had 4 clean sheets. And I think this is right in about 20 plus games. I have to double check that. It's not great. And the people made the thing that, okay, you know, we lost Saliba. It was a big miss last season when he was out. But even when he was in the side, our home record was poor. The goals we concede at home are poor. We're conceding goals again. You know, we conceded the goal in 58 seconds against Fulham.
Oh, mate, you're talking to the bloke who just watched United against Forest.
Yeah,
we were 2-0 down in 5 minutes.
I know, but Dan,
like, on you trying to make me feel bad for you conceding one goal.
I know, but it happened last season. We Bournemouth at home. I think Southampton at home. It could have happened at home against Leeds and Crystal Palace. It concerned me that this is your regular defensive unit. At home, supposed to be your fortress, and you're conceding in 58 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can't keep clean sheets at home.
Hope not, mate.
As a coupon buster, I've gone for Arsenal for a score and win. So I don't know. I think Arsenal. I think what I mentioned at the top of the show is, well, I was asked what team were Arsenal going to start against Man City. I haven't got a clue. Because he's played one of our best centre backs on the bench for the last 3 games. Our left back, I assume Zinchenko is not ready, hence the reason why he's been on the bench. He's been brought on.
Yeah.
If Thomas Partey starts at right back, it won't surprise me. I think it's right?
Injured?
No.
Did I see someone say he's injured? Or
someone mentioned in the chat. I'm gonna double check the fact that I don't know if that's true or not. But you don't want to play him if he plays right back again on Sunday. It wouldn't surprise me. Would I be happy with it? Absolutely not.
I wonder if he will though, because when United played you last, I mean, Rashford's had White twice, hasn't he? I remember Arteta did the right thing, didn't he? And made the change. So I wonder if that'll come into the thinking, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's a good shout. So yeah, I don't think it'll be goalless in this game, but I do think Arsenal. I do think we'll I think 2-1. I think 2-1. I think we'll do enough. We'll concede again like we usually do. I was going to ask you quickly about Aaron Ramsdale actually, because obviously we brought in David Raya. Now, a lot of Arsenal fans, a lot of the ex-professional footballers, they go, "Oh, can't believe why they buy another goalkeeper." Blah 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 blah. What's your thoughts on it?
It's a bizarre one because it's kind of like the same situation United were in a couple of years ago when we brought Dean Henderson back and Ollie said, "You're going to be my number one," and it was him and De Gea. I don't think it's good for any of the players. I think Ramsdale now, you're seeing the pressure is on him.
100%. I think we've seen it.
He's letting in goals that he wouldn't have let in, I think, last season. Obviously, he's struggled, I know, a bit mental health outside of football, hasn't he? There's been a lot go on. I kind of feel like if you've got a player like that who's struggling, why put more pressure on him? Because I tell you what, he was unreal last season in shades. I saw him sometimes last season. I thought he was quality, but I personally think Raya will come in. I don't think he'll come in this weekend, but I think he will come in. I think he will come in for him soon.
Yeah, you know what? I when the Raya links, I wasn't too. I mean, if my honest opinion, I wasn't too. I wasn't against it. Let me put it that way. I think with Ramsdale, he has moments. You look at that wonder save against Leicester 2 seasons ago from the free kick.
Yeah.
The performance at the Tottenham Stadium, we beat him 2-0. We won 2-0, but he got man of the match because he was excellent.
Yeah.
The save from Salah last season at Anfield. But then you look at moments, you look at the game at home to Southampton. You look at the second goal. You look at the second goal conceded against West Ham last season. You think, how's he let that in? Now, the thing is, he can make them mistakes, but know he's going to play the following week because Matt Turner wasn't up to the standard. But you haven't got that luxury this season because David Raya is an exceptional goalkeeper. I mean, he was possession stats. He was top of the list for passes and I think long passes.
Yeah,
you know, your defense trusts you. Very good distributor, a higher save percentage than Aaron Ramsdale. And I think, listen, I think I don't see a situation where you've got this situation with both goalkeepers at the club next season.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
It's either one or the other. I mean, obviously we've got David Raya on loan, but so yeah, I think Arsenal 2-1. Sakib Sheik's gone 3-1 Arsenal. What are you saying, Dan?
3-1 Arsenal. 3-1. I'm like Ian Beale on EastEnders, mate. I've got nothing left. Yeah. There's no part of me other than Højlund starting and maybe something happening there. I can't see us getting a result. Look, again, it's the Premier League. Anything can happen. But I can't. My heart and head is both saying the same thing. Sometimes I have that little thing on my shoulder saying, we might win, but I can't see it tomorrow. I can't Sunday. I can't see it. I can't.
It's been a long week, Dan. You thought the game was tomorrow.
It's been a long season with 3 games in, mate.
Dan, I just heard Forest I think they're going to secure the move with Ibrahim Sangare. Wow,
that's a hell of a signing. That is a hell of a signing. That is, but that's what clubs with money can do, mate. Like I said, we've been taking pocket money off the under-14s to fund this Amrabat deal. It's a hell of a signing.
Yeah, them staying up last season, man. I look at it now, I think it's massive. You know what I mean? That money to stay in the Premier League and to financially back yourself as a club, and then you're making some of the signings they're making is crazy. I mean, I don't think the Ndidi deal is going to happen, if I'm guessing. But if you're getting this guy in, Hudson Odoi as well, and they've got did they get Divock Origi as well?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know if they've got them. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I have to double check that. But yeah, listen, if that's what you call giving yourself a chance to stay up.
I don't think they need to worry, mate. Yeah. I genuinely don't think they need to worry. I think they'll be fine now.
Dave, if you're watching, mate, you're in good hands, mate. You're in good hands. Good hands. But Dan, I want to thank you for coming on. But big up to Levs and Shaheen, man. These guys have been busy work commitments. Hence the reason why I probably haven't seen a lot of content with Arsenal Lounge. But I will definitely try and do some streams on the Arsenal Lounge for these guys, man. Just give me a chance to come on the platform and do my thing. So I appreciate it. So love to Levs and Shaheen, man. Like I said, smash the like button on Arsenal Lounge and smash the like button on AlbertJTV. Subscribe to my channel. My channel link is in the bio for Arsenal Lounge. So people, subscribe away. and get them likes up as well from my channel and Arsenal Lounge, man. Dan, thank you for coming on, man. Great discussion with you as always, mate. Where can the people find you, mate?
Crying behind my sofa after most weekends watching Manchester United. Come and I tell you why we didn't go for him, mate, because we haven't got the money. If we had to scrat around for Amrabat, there was no way we were getting him.
What a signing for Brighton, Dan, though. Wow.
Hell of a signing. Find me United First on TikTok. Honestly, I'm on there all the time. Do you know what? Honestly, the world of TikTok, it's so easy to go live and so easy to do videos. With the job I do, it's incredible. So yeah, come and find me at United First. You'll normally find me screaming and shouting at all things Manchester United, but always happy to take any fans from any clubs on the channel. It is all one thing, one family. We all love the same sport. Let's keep together on that.
No, well said, well said. And people, go and follow my United colleague, my brother from another mother. People, as you know, your host, AlbertJTV. I do have my own channel, as you know. So subscribe to that. The channel link is in the bio. And obviously, subscribe, most importantly, people, to the Arsenal Lounge. Where will you find me? Here, there, and everywhere. I'll be on every other podcast going Arsenal related. You might see me on some radio appearances and whatever else. But keep tuned, people. Bigger and better.
I'm gonna become your agent, mate. I'm gonna become your agent. I think I need to. I'm missing something here.
I'm not at that level yet, man.
Available for kids' parties as well if needed.
But yes, I might be at the game Sunday, as I mentioned, but I'm not sure yet. I'll have to confirm that. But yeah, people, let me see if I can find the outro. That might help. Where are we? We are there. So people, like I said, over and out. Arsenal Lounge, Albert Midweek Peek. We will see you soon. Coming soon. Take care, people.